What's going on, guys? How you doing? This is Chris Fox with Yards After the Catch. Cut off the intro there a little bit because it's got the old slide on there. We'll get that fixed from our little technical stuff because we are going live impromptu for no reason other than we can. Group, there it is. My co-host is currently doing a draft like some of you are probably doing right now, getting those last ones in. A lot of people doing that. What up, Mark? What's going on? Mark and I recently had a draft we did on Yahoo. That's my long-running one. We've been doing that league for, gosh, probably 20 years or something like that, if not longer. Yeah, no worries. We both came out pretty good on that. It's just a 10-person league, so again, it's just for fun. It's free, but we take it pretty seriously. Done a couple other leagues this year, a couple 12-man. So far, I'm on Yahoo. I'm on ESPN. I've got 2 on Sleeper and 1 on another one, which I don't even remember what it's called. I'll try to remember it by the end of this broadcast. But yeah, Flea Flicker or something like that. So 5 leagues for me this year. That seems pretty good. A little more than I like to do. 4 is usually my norm, but went ahead and do a 5th one for fun. I'd probably do another one, which is why I'm also going live right now to stop that from happening. So come on in. Glad you're here. Join us and shoot me your questions. Let me know how your draft went. Let me know where you guys are drafting from, which platforms you guys are on, and let's just have some fun. Hopefully you guys will join us. So some of the stuff. So Le'Veon Bell, of course, just signed on with Baltimore. Doesn't matter. I don't know. If you're looking for a running back, you didn't get enough, your draft didn't go so well, maybe pick him up just to see what he does. A lot of people don't think he's going to do too much. They're probably right. But who knows? It might be the pickup of the season, and you might steal one. So don't be afraid of Le'Veon Bell, but don't drop any value to get him. I had a guy that I just picked up for fun. I don't even know. I think he's like 3rd string or something. Tutu Atwell, playing for the Rams. He's like returning kicks. I picked him up because his name was Tutu. I went and dropped him for Le'Veon Bell just to see. Who knows, right? So don't be afraid to grab him if you don't have to lose value for it. If you guys are drafting or getting ready, you got one more draft, you guys will see Judy shooting up. A lot of people liking him right now, so don't try to sleep on him like you might have in earlier drafts, because you won't get him. Jerry Judy is he's got good hands. He's finally got Bridgewater throwing the ball, and Bridgewater really just has to be mediocre this year to do something. Bridgewater has weapons. I'd say equal to, maybe better than he had in Carolina. So, he can get you some points. Some people saying Denver's going to make the playoffs this year. That might be a bit much, especially in the division they're in. But Mark says that the Baltimore offense is more Le'Veon Bell style. That's probably true in the fact that Le'Veon Bell won't have to play every down. But it does allow him to catch some balls. It does allow him some goal line work. So he could definitely steal you a couple points, maybe on a bye week. Or again, maybe he emerges and he fits the system and this just happens to be his year and maybe he goes off. Like I said, just don't drop any value to get him if that's what you're going to do this week. I don't really like changing my roster in week 1. I figure if you drafted it, you probably should stick with it. See a lot of people making free agent moves, trying to grab this guy, trying to grab that guy. Injuries and stuff, of course, you're going to have to do that. But if you drafted somebody and you thought they were good enough to draft, unless you just really think you made a mistake, I would just leave it alone. And you're going to hear us talk about that next Tuesday, new time, same great show. We're just going to be going Tuesdays at 8:30 Eastern. We're going to be talking about waivers. You guys probably have already submitted waiver wires, but requests, but you can still take those down before they execute on Wednesday after we talk a little bit. So feel free to run your waiver wire requests, things, the trades, the guys that you are wondering if you should pick up, make moves for. Sometimes in this fantasy football environment, it's good to get another opinion. Mark wants to know, what do I think about AJ Green being drafted so low? I don't think it's surprising, to be honest. You're putting a flyer out. Obviously, Hopkins is the man. AJ Green hasn't really done anything since his injury. Now, has he had a team to do anything with? Arguable. But I think he's going right about where he should, because you're taking a chance that he's going to do well. There's really not a lot of reason that he shouldn't, get you points and stuff like that. Hopkins is still going to be pulling it down out there, and they've got a running game, so he's going to be the third, maybe even fourth option when you start talking tight ends and dumps and things like that. Of course, Murray himself is more than happy to run the ball. So you figure Green for probably the fourth option at best every play. They might have a couple things drawn up for him and stuff, but again, he could steal you some points. Nice flex option depending on the opponent. So I mean, just keep an eye on it. He's probably not going to be an every week play, but yeah, he could get you some wins. But as for him sliding down, I think he's going right about where he should. Something that did surprise me was Kyler Murray in our draft. Welcome to the show. If you're just showing up, we're just talking draft. Let us know how your draft went, any trades, waivers you're looking at, or just say hi. But one of the things I saw in our draft was Kyler Murray actually dropped to like the 7th round, and a lot of quarterbacks went before him. So it was interesting to see Kyler Murray drop that far. I really don't have a problem with it because, number one, I don't like taking quarterbacks too early unless you're just forced into it. If you're going to take a quarterback and take a chance, I was really surprised to see Kyler Murray slip that low. At the same time, the usual suspects still went before him. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady actually went before him, which I thought was surprising. Aaron Rodgers went before him. I'm the one who took Aaron Rodgers because I just think Aaron Rodgers is going to go off this year. I really probably should have looked at Kyler Murray because I'm pretty sure that's the league I had Hopkins in. So I honestly probably made a mistake as far as the stack perspective goes. But I just really have a lot of faith in Aaron Rodgers. I was looking to get a late round steal on Cobb, to be honest, and that didn't happen. Someone took him, as they always do, right before I was going to, pick or two before, and that seems to always happen. Mark says a QB doesn't normally play as well in their second year since teams have tape on them, and that's true. Traditionally, that is true. So a lot of people expecting a decline in Murray, a lot of people expecting a decline in Herbert, but you still hear a lot of talk about them as well. So it'll be interesting to see. When it comes to quarterback, you're really taking a chance no matter who you draft, which is why I don't like to take them early, because you never know when one's going to go down. Luckily, guys like Rodgers and Wilson, and of course Brady, have stayed healthy their entire career, and you haven't lost those guys. But remarkably, Brady's right around top 12, but he's usually not even in the top 3. So, he's getting you consistent fantasy points, and he's staying healthy, which is why you want to keep that guy. I was really trying to target Wilson this year. I did get him in one draft. I just didn't get him. Wilson literally went to pick before me, and so I went ahead, waited another round, and got Aaron Rodgers. I'm not completely upset, but I would have liked to have Wilson as well this year. So, that's how it goes. How did your draft go? Let us know, and we'll talk about it. We're doing draft grades. We're doing waiver request trades, all that stuff. So, Mark says Brady usually gets you 19 or 20. Some quarterbacks get you 23, 4, 25. It just depends on the week and depends on the opponent and things like that. Plus, it's a 10-person league. There's plenty of talent out on the waiver wire. I know Winston is still out there. A lot of people waiting to see what Winston's going to do. I think Winston is going to have a resurgence. I think he's going to be top 10 this year. Number 3 in 2019, despite the 19 interceptions. So Gosh, he cleans up those interceptions and does it again, he'd easily be number one. So, he's got a great receiving core down there in New Orleans, but he is missing Thomas. Kamara helps him out. So we'll just see what Winston does. I did take him late in at least one of my leagues, if not two, just to see what he does, and I'll have him if he pans out. So tell us what you guys did. Tell us the risk you guys took. Maybe you auto drafted, so a lot of people would just letting the auto draft do the work for them. I actually know a girl who auto drafted last year and won the whole league. So auto draft, not necessarily a bad thing as long as you know how to work the wire. And of course, every once in a while, you got to get lucky. We want to talk about your teams. We want to talk about how you guys are doing. We're definitely going to be talking waiver wire and trade requests after week 1 on next Tuesday. This will be the new time, 8:30 Eastern. On Tuesday, so we can talk about your waiver wire requests, trade requests, and see how that goes. Good for you, Mark. Mark got 3 top 10 running backs in a different league because the others were all going for the QBs. Yeah, see, that's why I don't like going after QBs. QBs are going to get you a lot of points in the end, but you don't know which QBs it's really going to be for the most part. Again, because you don't know who's going to get injured. You know how the matchups are going to work. If the receivers get injured, if the running backs get injured. You talk about Ezekiel Elliott. I had Ezekiel Elliott. A lot of people staying away from Zeke this year, to include myself, which is probably a mistake. I have more faith in Elliott this year than I do Barkley, but we all know now that Elliott needs Dak. So, you have players dependent on other players. If Brady went down, what would those teams be without him? Things like that happen, and then you get stuck. So I don't like taking an unpredictable position like quarterback. And I say unpredictable loosely. I think running back is much more unpredictable. It's just that running back is so much more thin than quarterback. So people are usually more willing to grab those quarterbacks at a loss of value for wide receivers, because wide receivers are deep, but make sure you got your running backs before you grab those quarterbacks. Brady's gonna be the next AP. Oh, Barkley's gonna be the next Adrian Peterson. He definitely could. I mean, he's set up for it. Again, the guys, I just can't take a player that's only played 15 games in the last 2 seasons. It's clearly a significant injury, and you worry about it coming back. I mean, honestly, you worry about CMC. Now, if I'd ever gotten the first pick, of course I'm taking McCaffrey with the first pick. If you didn't take McCaffrey for the first pick, man, you better be some kind of psychic or something. But McCaffrey's got that injury question on him as well. So if I had the first pick and I had to take McCaffrey, or McCaffrey fell to me, of course I'm going to take him, but there's going to be a concern there. I'm definitely going to make sure my running back core is well rounded out just in case something happens. Mark predicts that Barkley's going over 2,000 this year. I think that's a bit lofty, but I mean, hey, that's the fun of this game. You don't know. So, I've said it the whole season. There's no way. You would have to pay me a substantial amount of money to use my pick on Barkley in the first 2 rounds. That said, if you did draft Barkley in the first 2 rounds, hey, good on you. Best of luck. I hope he pans out for you, unless you're playing me. So other than that, I hope Barkley has an amazing season. Chubb is another running back that kills it, Mark says, and that's true. Chubb didn't even finish the season and put up the numbers. I'll tell you another guy that's interesting is Eckler. Eckler only played half the season and put up top 10 running back numbers, which is ridiculous. I actually did take him in the second round in one of my drafts. I honestly wouldn't mind getting him in other leagues as well, but I just drafted too soon. I got the 4th pick twice. And of course, Eckler wasn't making it back around after my first pick. And I think I got Kamara Kamara. I think I got Kamara in both those leagues at number 4. So that was surprising, and I liked it a lot. No, I got Kamara in one and Cook in the other. A lot of people worried about Cook possibly getting injured, not finishing out the season. So I can understand that switch. I actually would have taken Kamara ahead of Cook as well. I think I did in one league. I don't know how he fell that far, but people get crazy, and that's what's cool about fantasy football. Top wide receiver. I mean, so here's the thing about wide receivers. So the top wide receiver has not repeated as the top wide receiver in over 10 years. It hasn't happened. So whoever finished number 1 last year has never finished number 1 the next year. It hasn't happened in over 10 years. I didn't go back further than 10 years. I got tired of looking. I figured it was a pretty reliable stat at that point. So obviously people are looking at Adams. I'm looking at Adams because, again, I think Rodgers is going to go off. But statistically, Adams isn't going to be the top wide receiver. So who's it going to be? Man, I think Hopkins is a great candidate. I think DK is a great candidate to make that top receiver spot this year. Let's see. Who do you think it's going to be, Mark? It was Adams last year, which is why, again, statistically, it probably won't be him this year. I'm really kind of looking at DK or Hopkins. I know a lot of people are looking at Ridley, but I think Ridley I think there's too many mouths to feed with Pitts and Mike Davis. Mike Davis is a great pass catcher as well. Russell Gage is a fantastic pass catcher. A lot of people taking him late, and I think that'll pay off for people. Mark thinks it's going to be DK as well. I think there's really not a lot holding him up. I mean, Lockett is there, but if you had Lockett last year like I did, Lockett shows up for a few games, but he does not show up for all of them, and DK takes a huge portion of that. And then, of course, Russell isn't afraid to pull it down and take some of those yards himself. Diggs is interesting. Diggs is one of the ones that's a big question mark for me because he's kind of like that second year guy. Not that Diggs himself is in his second year, but he's over there in Buffalo with Allen, and so you got to wonder. I think Diggs definitely still finishes top 10, possibly top 5. He could get number 1. I'm just not sure. He would still be behind DK and Hopkins for me. I think Robinson has a chance. I actually think Darrell Mooney has a chance. If you're drafting and you're late in your game, you're getting down in those final rounds and stuff, grab Darrell Mooney from the Bears. If you look at his highlight reel from last year, it is amazing how open and the athletic ability that Mooney showed last year, but didn't have a quarterback to give him the ball. Every time he got thrown the ball, every time he didn't get thrown the ball, and he should. Look, I made the prediction. I'm standing by it. I think Mooney is going to outperform Robinson this year. He's tall, he's fast. They both are, but I think Mooney is a better route runner. I think he's better at getting open. The biggest thing standing in Mooney's way this year is the fact that it's year 2, and we're fantasy shows and stuff like that clearly picked up on Mooney's ability. They've talked about it all preseason, and so now defenses are going to be looking at it. But it didn't matter last year, so let's see what he does. Is Washington going to have a top 5 defense this year? Again, defenses, there's so much movement that goes around on defense. I mean, why not? The division they play in, they play against Philly, number 1, who Philly's just going to be a dumpster fire this year, but they're going to be essentially Hurts is a rookie. He only played a few games last year, so he's going to get his first full season. Of course, Devonta Smith, who I'm very high on. I took him in most of my leagues where I could because they're going to be playing from behind all year long. It's going to be pass, pass, pass. And while Smith isn't that big, he's the Heisman winner for a reason. He gets separation. He runs great routes. He's going to catch a lot of balls. But you got Washington in there. You don't know how, Washington and Dallas always play each other hard. How well is Dak going to play this year? You got a dogfight. You could have a lot of dogfights going on there. You could have a lot of defensive battles there. Cowboys definitely plussed up their defense this year. So could Washington be a top 5 defense? Yeah, sure. I mean, it's all schedule. Chase Young is a monster from The Ohio State University. That's what we breed on defense out there. Uh, uh, yeah, man. I mean, why wouldn't I mean, tell me why Washington isn't going to be a top 5 defense this year. I think that's a harder thing to talk about, or harder thing to explain. So if you guys are out there and you can tell me why Washington isn't going to be a top 5 defense this year, I'm all ears. I'm here to listen. That's right, the Ohio State. So who else have you guys really been eyeing picking up? Your guys' sleeper pick, that guy that you've really tried to grab in every league. And I'm not talking necessarily about Patrick Mahomes. Of course, everybody's trying to grab Patrick Mahomes or CMC or anything like that. But the Jerry Judys, the Moonies, Marcus Callaway, I've seen. I picked him up a lot because he's probably going to get a lot of work until Thomas comes back. Gage, I think, is another one out of Atlanta. Scary Terry now out of Washington, to bring up, since you brought up Washington. I've seen him flying up the draft board as well from the first draft, that mock draft I did, probably after the first preseason game until the ones that I did this week, the actual drafts. Man, did he go up fast. He was going 7th, 8th round, and now he's going second round easy. He might squeeze into the 3rd round, but second, 3rd round, I've been seeing McLaren go. I think it's a good spot. I think 3rd round is a great spot for him to go with. Because Fitzmagic's just going to sling it. Fitzmagic's going to get you some points if you play him in the spot of your QB1. If you got a bye week or a bad matchup, throw Fitzmagic in, because he's going to get you some points. He's going to be putting up 20. He's got the potential to put up 30 points that week. He's done it before. He did it a lot. He just gets out there and slings it, as Cutler would say. So there's no reason to think that McLaren is really going to do anything but perform. McLaren, let's see, where's he from? Oh, he's also from The Ohio State University. I'm liking Washington. They like the Ohio State players, just like New Orleans. The Washington football if the Washington football team wins the division again, you have to put their flag up behind you. If they win their division, depending on who else won their division, I'll give Washington some love. Look, if they win the division, I will put something of Washington up behind me. I'm probably not going to put a flag up, but I'll put something up. I'll get a bobblehead. I'll get something. I'll get me I'll wear a McLaren jersey. I'll wear a Chase Young jersey for the Washington football team. I'll do that. Represent my Buckeyes and your Washington football team at the same time. I can do that for you, no worries. You just buy it for me and send it down. I'm just kidding. But I'll do something Washington for you, Mark, if they win the division. That's a tough sell with Dallas there. It's really going to be dependent on, Dallas is the team in it, and that division goes through Dallas. And I know it sounds funny to say, but if Dak comes back, then I think they win the division. If Dak struggles, and they miss some games, if Zeke struggles again, then Washington's definitely got a chance to come up behind. If Maryland beats the Ohio State University, I have to put something up too. If Maryland beats the Ohio State University, I probably won't show up that week. I'll call in sick because no, look, we can talk some college. Definitely always wanted to talk my Buckeyes. Look, they got a freshman quarterback who before last Thursday's game had never thrown a college pass. They've got a lot of freshmen on defense. They're still trying to figure out which running back is going to be the back. They've got 3 of them that they're trying to pick from. The line on both sides is replacing players. So while there's expectations, we have, Buckeye fans, we have an expectation to win the Big Ten. It's conceivable we could lose a game or two from jitters. You could call this a rebuilding year, and I don't like doing that as a fan. But I mean, I'm just being realistic. That's honestly what we're doing, is rebuilding our team. We lost so much talent over the last couple seasons to the NFL, which is great. We played well. Played for a national championship last year against maybe one of the greatest college teams of all time. Um, Alabama's team was just really special last year, but we got to play them, and so we got there. But we're definitely rebuilding. I could see us losing a game, and if we lost a game, why not Maryland, right? I didn't see the Maryland West Virginia game. I saw West Virginia was giving them some trouble in the first half, but I mean, you only put so much stock in the first half of college football. You really want to watch the second half to see the real game go down. So I saw Maryland just kind of take over at that point on the scoreboard, on the box score as well. So, it's college. You never know. I mean, college, you talk about that in the NFL. This is why we play the game, but that's not, couldn't be truer anywhere else than in college, because the upsets are crazy. We got 5 teams in the top 25 right now with a loss. Clemson fell to 6 with their loss, and that's fair. They lost to Georgia. They shouldn't have fallen too far. It was a great game. They put up a fight. Clemson, I'm not gonna put Clemson in the same rebuild status as Ohio State, but Clemson's definitely trying to replace some pieces as well. North Carolina lost. Wisconsin lost to Penn State, so they fell a couple spots. So you have some losses in there. In the 5 teams with a loss, we're okay there. UCLA maybe could use a little more respect. They got 2 wins, but it's nobody's fault that they've played 2 games, and they really kind of need to prove that win that they had last week. Not that they didn't earn it. I'm just saying you've got to prove that you can stay there. So some good competition, some still a ton of uncertainty in college football. Love watching college football, waiting to see where that's going to go. I know you guys are too. So I appreciate it for anybody and everybody who stopped by and caught this quick little live stream. We are going live next Tuesday. We're going to be 8:30 on Tuesdays. We're going to be talking waiver wires. We'll still talk your drafts. We're definitely going to be talking possible trades. Should you not make them, and we'll always be talking start or sit them. So just send your questions in, send your comments in. We love seeing you guys. We love hearing you guys. Mark, thanks for so many comments, so many questions on this impromptu live version of Yards After the Catch. For Roop, there it is. I am Chris Fox. We appreciate you guys showing up, and we will see you guys next Tuesday. Hit us up all week on the page, on the YouTube channel. The live broadcast will be on the YouTube channel exclusive next week. We will not be going live on Facebook. We will talk that up and make sure that you guys are aware, but we will be going live on Facebook or on YouTube exclusively for the regular season. So if you tune in to Facebook on Tuesday, just remember there will be reminders on the page and in the group that we are live on Facebook through the regular, or excuse me, on YouTube, not on Facebook. We'll get right. For the regular season. So again, I'm Chris Fox for my co-host who is currently drafting, hopefully doing well. Roop, there it is. Catch him on Twitter at Mr. Football Today. And of course, check out Rob Machado on Reverb Nation. Download his music, and we will see you guys next Tuesday right here live on YouTube on Yards After the Catch. We'll see you guys next time. Keep yakking football, everybody.